The Indiana Fever have pulled off the upset, the 6th seed, beating Vegas 89-73 to take game 1.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, gave the Indiana Fever a chance. ESPN analysts dismissed them. Odds makers laughed. Even the two-time defending champs, the Las Vegas Aces, were preparing for a clean sweep, but then came the shocker. On the very night Aya Wilson was crowned league MVP in front of her home crowd, the Fever stormed into Las Vegas and snatched Game 1. The upset wasn't just surprising, it was seismic. And the way it unfolded has the whole league buzzing. So, how does a team missing 6 players flip the script on the champs in their own building? And what did Caitlin Clark say afterward that had everyone talking? Stick around, because this wasn't some random Cinderella win. This was a statement.
Particular matchup, Aces Fever Game 1. We're not deciding the whole series right now, just Game 1.
Should we do it together?
I think we should do it together.
Okay.
Because my spidey sensor's telling me they might be the same. 3, 2, 1.
Aces.
They're not gonna lose after she just won MVP.
Yeah, period.
Heading into the series, Indiana wasn't just an underdog. They were being treated like they didn't belong on the court. ESPN panels called it a mismatch. Betting lines weren't even about who would win, they were about how much Vegas would win by. Headlines used words like survival, not victory.
Indiana Fever had no business winning a playoff series this year, had no business advancing to the semifinals for the first time in a decade, and yet here they are, eliminating the Atlanta Dream in Atlanta without Caitlin Clark, without Sophie Cunningham, without Sid Colson, without Erin McDonald, without Chloe Bibby. The hospital squad is on the bench, and yet the Indiana Fever are into the semifinals of the WNBA.
Then came the brutal injury report. Caitlin Clark out, Sophie Cunningham out, Sydney Colson, Chloe BBY, Ari McDonald, DeWanna Bonner, gone. 6 names sidelined. The Fever looked less like a playoff team and more like one patched together with duct tape.
And then the coaching of Stephanie White. She is working with a 9-woman rotation, and 5 of those players did not even touch the court the last time the Fever played the Dream during the regular season, and 3 of those players weren't even on the team. I cannot say it enough. The Indiana Fever should not be here. They continue to be here. They battle. They're resilient. It's wildly impressive. Caitlin Clark wore the black Air Force Ones again. They had one of those forces lifted in the air like a beacon of hope, and now they'll face...
On the other side, a dynasty in full form. The Aces, banners raised high, crowd buzzing, and Wilson, the face of the league, being honored at center court with her MVP trophy. Everything about the night screamed coronation. Indiana wasn't just overlooked, they were invisible.
You actually just referenced it twice. It is Indiana. Dropped 2 of the 3 games to them this year, but you haven't seen them since late July. What excites you about that matchup?
That they haven't seen the releases yet. They caught us when we were at a bit in turmoil. Not only that, they whooped us one of those stretches. So, you know what? We'll buckle in, hone in where we can, and take care of business.
But here's the beauty of sports. Just when a script feels locked, someone rips it to shreds. We've seen it before, iconic underdogs refusing to bow to the narrative. And from the opening tip, you could feel that same electricity. Indiana wasn't just there to compete. They were there to fight. And when the final buzzer sounded, they had stolen the show. An 89-73 win. Their first semi-final victory in nearly a decade. A moment that yanked the spotlight away from Wilson's MVP coronation and forced the basketball world to pay attention, and the spark. It came from one player who turned the night into her personal masterpiece.
Respect everyone, fear no one. Thumbs in the chat! Dub. That's one. Big time.
First semifinal appearance. Just what's your emotional state right now?
Normal, I think. Just practice, trying to prepare like anybody else would, like any other day. But keep the main things.
All eyes were on Wilson, but the game belonged to Kelsey Mitchell. Mitchell has always been known as a lethal scorer, but too often she's overshadowed by flashier names. Heading into this matchup, she wasn't on anyone's radar as the X factor. But when the lights burned brightest, she gave the answer in the loudest way possible: buckets, and not just any buckets.
Your younger self.
Yeah.
How would you explain to her to make sure that you give yourself grace and give you the flowers that you so willingly deserve?
Ooh, I think the best thing I could have done was, I had a list, I had a long list. I wrote down a list of all the times I could have quit, been a pro, playing with the Indiana Fever. I wrote down all the people that wrote me off. I wrote it down on a list. I wrote down all the coaches that didn't want me around. I wrote down all the media outlets that didn't want to talk to me. I think that within itself is like, you gotta tell your younger self not to give up on you, because it's been a lot of times I could have given up when I know a lot of people that talk to me now wasn't talking to me, and I know what it was like when they wasn't. So that part is big for me.
She pulled up in the mid-range with defenders draped all over her. She drilled deep threes whenever the aces gave her even an inch. She battled through screens, attacked the rim, and was automatic at the line, 6 for 6. By the end of the night, 34 points on 12 for 23 shooting, 4 for 6 from 3. Relentless, efficient, unstoppable.
That time, keeping the pivot foot alive and going strong side for Wilson.
Mitchell this time finds a lane to the basket. Inside to Turner. Nice move from Mitchell, which follows 5 Eastern time on ESPN. Mitchell. Lot of arc on that and a couple of...
That wasn't just a great game. It was historic. No Fever player had scored 30+ in a playoff game since 2012. Nobody in WNBA history had ever dropped that many in their very first semi-final appearance. Mitchell didn't just join legends like Lauren Jackson and Cynthia Cooper, she passed them. On the road, against the reigning champs, with the league MVP being celebrated, she carved her name into playoff history.
He's done that. 5-point advantage for Indy. Trying to go inside. Terrific defense by Mitchell to deny Lloyd. It's Mitchell, guarded by Evans. Screen from Turner. Kelsey Mitchell knocks down another shot.
No one is accountable for Hall.
It's Mitchell. Come on.
And even from the sidelines, Caitlin Clark knew how monumental it was. Injured and unable to play, Clark jumped on social media with just 2 words: Kelsey. Unreal. That's all it took. No speeches, no overthinking. Just pure respect from the league's newest superstar to the Fever's veteran leader who carried them when it mattered most. Because make no mistake, this wasn't just Mitchell's night. It was the Fever's night. A team everyone counted out, walking into the champ's house on their MVP's big night, and leaving with the win that flipped the series on its head. This wasn't just an upset. That it was a warning shot. The Indiana Fever are here. And they're not asking for respect anymore, they're taking it.
That's it for today's video. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.